I guess you'd call this a hobby. It's like I was really big into films, a film buff, independent movies, just, mainstream independent, it's like just about, any kind of film. I also watched, foreign films too, some foreign films. This hobby started probably in the late 80s. I think it was like, I think I started it with her because her was a film buff. So we'd go to all kinds of movies. We'd go to independent stuff all the time if we could see anything. It's like I should make a list of, all the different movies I've seen. Some of the names I can't recall right now, but it's like one of the things I remember seeing was Little Dorrit, and it was like two movies, this was probably like around 1989. I'd have to look up the year. The really good film. So it was two films, and I remember we saw it at some movie theater somewhere in LA, and I can't think of the name of it right now. I think it's probably gone now. I want to say it was like Samuel Goldwyn, had a movie theater or something. Anyway, so we saw the first movie, and then we went back like a week later or less than a week later and saw the second movie, and it was really good. Anyway, so that's kind of, and I was actually lucky enough. This is some years later, in the 90s, early part of the 90s. It's like I got to go to the Toronto Film Festival. I think I mentioned that before, that I got to go to the Toronto Film Festival because we had a sister company in Toronto, and the guy that owned it found out that I was film buff, and he was too. So he goes, it's like you have to come up, and so I made an excuse to go there, and so I got to see movie stars and stuff, and got to see some unusual movies. One of the ones I remember was a movie called Man Bites Dog, which is a foreign film. Can't think of the language it was in right now, Italian or maybe French. Anyway, so it was. It was like one of those things. The theater was crowded, and it was like dark humor and stuff. But I remember at one point, it like turned on us, and it wasn't funny anymore. And it was like that was kind of a unique moment in the movie. Anyway, it's like lots of independent films. It's like Santa Sangria. I saw that at the NuArt. I'd go to different places. Lamemle theaters. Used to go. I still go there once in a while, but yeah, it's like I start going to that Landmark theaters. Independent, and sometimes AMC and stuff will show some of these more independent movies too. It's like in one of the theaters. So anything mainstream, so on. So it's like I'm still doing it. I'm currently helping out at the Gardena Cinema, which I hope keeps going. I help volunteer here and there when she needs help over there, because they're trying to stay in business, and they're fortunately they will show movies. They show mainstream movies, but they also, in between that, they'll show other movies that are older movies and so on, and sometimes like just, sort of independent movies that kind of people forgot about and stuff, and they do secret films and stuff. And so that's been an interesting experience to work with. One of the things I've never done in my life was work at a movie theater, but I'm kind of doing that. And the Gardena Cinema has a special place in my heart because we used to go there when we were kids. It used to be called the Park Theater. And when we were young, I mostly remember going there when I was a teenager and as a young adult. We saw a number of movies. I think I even saw the first Star Wars movie there. So it's like that's a special place for me, as the Gardena Cinema. So we're trying to keep the doors open and stuff. So I just wanted to talk about the film buff and all these interesting movies. Unfortunately, some of the best movies around you don't get to. Most people aren't going to ever see because they're not like mainstream movies. So it's like you get a chance to see something something different, So because there's a lot of good ones out there. I just was looking up next Stop Wonderland. That was not a big film, but it was a really good film. It's like it's like trying to remember some of the other, it's like mentions a few of the others here. But anyway, so if you get a chance, see something kind of different, something from the past, it's like The Sorcerer, which is not an independent movie, but it was one of the lesser known movies by William Friedkin. That's really good to see, and that's actually he's actually stated that was his favorite movie too. So that's definitely worth seeing. It's like So just go through. There's always new movies being produced, and there's also the old classic ones too.